Hello everyone and welcome to a redesigned and quite frankly bold and sharp looking compact SUV, which is this 2022 Hyundai Tucson. But the real question is, should you be going for this compact SUV? So stick around and we'll find out everything in detail about this Hyundai Tucson. Before we move forward, I have a bit of a task for you. So go down there and click that subscription button which is in red color, press that, and next to that there is a bell icon, so just press that and keep all the notifications on, so that ways you won't have to find my videos, but rather my videos will come to your phone screens or TV screens or your laptop screens or wherever you are viewing this video from. So make sure to subscribe. Well, so far Hyundai has always played it pretty safe and conservative when it comes to the styling on the Tucson, but on this fourth generation it doesn't look like anymore, because look at that, like it's just completely transformed itself on this fourth generation. So let me start off from the front. So you get this big huge grille out here in this dark chrome color, and even the badging is in dark chrome color with the lights continuing onto the sides, and not just lights, the lights are actually out here in a sort of wing shape. So these are the DRLs out here, and this design shape is pretty similar to a certain Mercedes EQC. I don't know, let me know in the comment section below. So yeah, it extends onto the side with this diamond plastic design out here which has been given on the edge, and the turn signals are here at the bottom right next to the DRLs, and then these DRLs are only just functioning as a DRL, nothing more. They are not headlights or anything. The rear headlights are mounted out here. So these are the LED headlights. This is an optional extra because like this is the top of the line version and this is quite decked up with the optional extras. So yeah, these are the LED optional extra headlights that you get out here. Next to it is this vent that has been given, and that vent is a real one and not a fake one, and it continues in the back, so it channels the air onto the side. At the bottom there is this glossy, again the same dark chrome, black chrome, which has been given out here at the strip, and underneath that there is like a normal plastic out here and a silver color underside plate that has been given. So yeah, that way the styling is pretty aggressive, I would say. And not just that, even the bonnet design, look at the crease that you now have. It gives a very strong and muscular presence out here, like all these thick lines, especially when you're driving. You can see that bonnet in front of you with those creases and everything. So the side profile is something where particularly a lot is going on in terms of the lines, and yeah, a lot of body design changes that has happened. So you get this thick shoulder line out here in the front, very thick one, which continues till the bottom out here like in a triangular shape out here. Even in the back another line continues and goes till the back, like angular things are going on. Even out here there's a triangular design out here, and then the arches have a thick line as well. So yeah, lots of aggressive lines, I would say, that has been given on the side profile as well. Then you get these body arches, plastic ones, with this again design, couple of them like dents, indentations sort of given out here, and yeah, that is plastic ones, normal plastic, so that it protects your fenders. At the bottom, thick skirting has been given, plastic one, normal plastic again, to make it look a lot more rugged and aggressive in terms of its appearance. And these arches actually look kind of pretty similar to a RAV4. I don't know, again let me know in the comment section below. And plus the whole side profile, if you look at it, it feels a lot more inspired in a certain way. So in the back also you get the same black color arches, square ones that you get, and these two indentations. And in a US version of it, I have seen there are like turning lights which are given out here, orange ones, not the turn lights but just the normal lights that are always on. So yeah, out here it's not necessary, which is why it has been removed. And there is also a half chrome strip that goes from top and continues till the back, and in the back it becomes thick one again. Yeah, I don't know, not a huge fan of that, but kind of looks all right. There are also black roof rails which are given on top, and you get these side mirrors which are power foldable. They are also power adjustable. They also have the blind spot warning inside them, and there is also a turn signal, which is again an optional extra that you can pay for and get that one. There is also cameras which are given on both the side mirrors, and these side mirrors actually work for another reason as well, because these cameras that are mounted on the side mirrors, so whenever you're turning around, they will actually transmit that feed into your driver's display, and then you can see that's the part of any Kia, Hyundai and Genesis. So yeah, that's the tech which has been given on this Tucson as well. And when you come to these doors, these are keyless entry doors, and there is also Tucson badging on the door sills. And when you come to these rims, these are 19-inch alloy rims. So the base version gets the 17-inch, and then you progress into the medium variant, which is an 18-inch optional, and then you have these 19-inch rims that you get in this sort of design out here. I'm not a huge fan of these rim designs, but yeah, it still works with the side profile because there's a chrome strip and everything, so it matches with the rims as well. Also on the back now you would start seeing the tail lights that extend onto the side profile, and again there are lots of curves and angles that are going around even on the rear. So the redesigning continues even in the rear. So starting off with the tail lights, you get this big bar out here, a continuous LED bar, and there are these brake lights which are given out here, and there was a couple of them on both the sides. And this is again an optional extra, which is an LED tail light cluster, otherwise it's just the normal one that you get. So yeah, it's also got the design and everything in here, and the turn signals are normal halogen ones, so like, which is why it's a combination rear light, but it's broken apart. Like the top ones is the brake lights and the bottom ones are the turn lights which you get out here. And the Hyundai badging is given out here for some reason, because there was obviously no space because of this light bar. So yeah, this may look good for some people, or some people may not like it. Let me know in the comment section what do you think about it. But if you're wondering where is the rear wiper, then here's the interesting bit, because the rear wiper is housed inside this spoiler. So it comes down, yeah, cleans the rear windows and goes away and hides itself underneath that spoiler. That's a clever bit which I really liked. And at the bottom there is normal plastic bumper out here, so that it's just more easier to replace it. So it's going to be easier to drive it and afford this new Tucson as well. There's also this diamond design which continues even in the back out here, and at the bottom there is like a diffuser in silver color, but it's just for aesthetics, it's not really a diffuser or anything. And the exhaust tip is mounted on the right side, but it's behind the bumper, so it's a clean design that way. No fake exhaust tips or anything. There's Tucson badging out here, and also the HTRAC, because this is an all-wheel drive Tucson. I'm going to come to that as well, and the 2.5 because it's got the engine. In terms of the visibility, it's pretty alright. There are some thick pillars on both the sides, but they don't hamper the visibility because the glass is pretty vertical that way and it's big. So yeah, you get decent amount of visibility from that. There's also the spoiler with the brake light out here. And when you come to the boot space, it's a motorized tailgate for extra bit of help and convenience for you. And there is also this boot separator which you can actually remove, and let me show you that. The thing is, there is no space to put this boot separator, so there is only in the front that you will find the space to put it. But when you remove that boot separator, and you find 620 liters of luggage capacity that you can put when the rear seats are up, and that quite frankly is the biggest in its segment, in the compact sedan segment, because yeah, and it's pretty even, and yeah, quite rectangular and vertical space that you get, and not a sloping one. So yeah, pretty impressive stuff from Hyundai to give so much of boot space. There's also scuff plates which are given so that you don't damage your plastic bumper out here. And at the bottom of this boot floor there is a spare wheel which has been given, a full size spare wheel, not like a temporary one, so you can change and use that as well. There are also tying points in the back on both the sides, even in the back side. There's also a 12-volt power socket and a boot light that has been given. And these rear seats are foldable in a ratio of 60:40, and also it's actually foldable in a ratio of 40:20:40. So you know, if you want to load longer objects, there is like a button which has been given out here, so you can fold the middle handrest and then you can load longer objects. If you want to fold down all the rear seats, then there are levers given out here, so you just pull them and fold the rear seats down. And there's my bag on the rear seats, which is why that seat is not folding. So when you fold the rear seats down, you can put 1799 liters of luggage. So that is immense. And again, the rear seats and the boot floor, that they are a little bit sloping, but it's continuous, so you can easily put your stuff in and out. There's also no load lip out here, so it's going to be easier for you to drag the luggage in and out into that. And the car also sits pretty low that way, so it's not going to be an effort also to lift the luggage and put it inside. Now on the inside of the new Tucson, the interior changes are also quite visible, and some of the improvements are also even more visible, because the fact was that even in the previous generation of the Tucson, it was more plasticky, where every surface was layered with the normal plastic. But on this one, there is still plastic, but some good amount of plastic that has been used. So let me start with the material quality. Out here you get soft touch plastic on the dashboard, a little floppy one out here, but yeah, good plastic. Even on the door cards, it's soft touch, and in between that there is a fabric layer out here in the dark gray color, and at the bottom there is again soft touch, and the lowermost part of the door cards there is normal plastic. There is also glossy plastic near the switches and everything, the window switches. Even out here there are like chrome strips which are given out here where there are cup holders. There is black glossy plastic, and then this huge infotainment screen and the AC controls. I'm going to come to that, but again, that is glossy plastic. There are also mood lights which are given, but there is only one color to it, the blue color, so that is usually out here, and even on the door cards and everywhere where there is like a bit of mood light that has been given. And the steering wheel and the seats are all in leather. There are also these curving arches near the dashboard, very similar to a Genesis G80. In fact, I've done the detailed review video of that, so you can click on the pop-up banner out here and you can watch the detailed review video of the Genesis G80. And yeah, so very similar style, yeah, like round ones around the door cards and everywhere. And then there is also this grill near the AC vents, dot ones, so I'm going to come to that as well. So yeah, all of that is pretty good, nicely designed interior that has been given. Now when you come to the driver's display, this is where a bit of a surprise kicks in, because you get just a screen, like a 10.25 inch screen driver's display, which has been given a colorful one, and there is no covering to it, so it's like an open floating one. Now the idea is to make the visibility in the front quite open, which I think Hyundai has managed to done that, but it's also got this huge glass, and it actually makes it very wide looking field of view when you look at it from the front glass. So yeah, it's definitely an improvement in that sense. But yeah, I don't know on a normal sunny day how much heat this screen can absorb, and then it obviously gets very heated and emits heat also. And when I was driving it also, I had a chance to just touch it, and then yeah, it gets hot. So I don't know what is the longevity of this screen when it's exposed directly to the sunlight, but yeah, it's a very good bright display, and that is for sure, because you get to see everything on your screen. There is never a moment where you can't see. There is no glare or anything on the screen, surprisingly. And on both the sides you would find the dials. On the left side for your speedometer, on the right side your RPM, and in the center there is the information, where you can see in the middle your driver's information. Then when you scroll down, you can see the refueling, your accumulated info, your digital speed, and then when you go to the next side on your right, you will find the digital compass, the information center, where you get the tire pressure and everything on your screen, and then the displayed tire pressures and the power distribution. You can also change the dials and the visibility of that, so you can go into the infotainment screen, and then you go into the settings, the vehicle settings, and then you go into the cluster, and then you can select the theme. There are classic B, where you have like a sporty display with the carbon fiber background in the dials, and then the C one, where it's just normal eco mode. When you have, it's kind of that greenish bluish, and then for some reason you have a cube design, like a cube view. In that there is a digital speed and the RPM, so I think that's my least favorite. Otherwise other dials are pretty good. The graphics are really crisp and very sharp, and it's very quick also in terms of the loading. You can even link it to the drive mode, and then you can leave it, so whenever you're changing the drive mode, the display would also change automatically for you. But yeah, that way the interface is pretty clean. So this driver's display that you get, that is an optional extra on this top of the line Tucson. Otherwise you get a normal 4.2 inch display with the physical dials on both the sides. Now when you come to the steering wheel, this is a leather covered steering wheel with the 4-spoke design, and this design is very similar to in the other Hyundai models as well, which is your Palisade. So I've done a detailed review video of the Hyundai Palisade, so click on the pop-up banner out here and can watch a detailed review video of the Hyundai Palisade. So when we continue, this steering wheel is manually adjustable. Where is that? Yeah, so tilt and telescopic, both you can adjust. And there are also paddle shifters, plastic ones, which are given. These are decently long enough, but yeah, you're gonna be probably just cruising and enjoying the drive in this. The sticks and everything in the back, there is also this diamond design on them as well, and then there are also different buttons given on both the sides, and in the center there is Hyundai badging with the chrome rings around it. And on the right side you would find the controls for your adaptive cruise control and also the lane keep assist and all of those settings, and also the buttons to change your driver's display and all the settings out here, the different views that you get to see. And on the left side there are buttons for your infotainment control, media control related all, and the communication. And then there is the mode button and the star button, and those two buttons are customizable, so you can go into the infotainment screen, you go into the vehicle settings, and then inside the settings, and then you will find the button where you go in there and you can customize the button. There's also a button right next to the infotainment screen that also you can customize. All of those functions can be done from this infotainment screen. Now when you come to the air conditioning controls and even the infotainment screen, there is like a flat surface now, and all of that is just touch buttons. So it's a buttonless approach that has been applied on this Tucson, which is only for this top of the line version. In the mid version and the base version you get the scrollers on both the sides, and the screen is from 8-inch and the lower ones have like 4 inches and something. Yeah, so on this one you get a 10.25-inch infotainment screen, which is a colorful screen. And not just that, so let me first come to the air conditioning controls. So you get all touch buttons out here for your air conditioning controls, and the good bit is it's still button operated, but the only thing is that you have to get used to all these touch buttons, where they are, how they function. So when I start, then there is a fan button, so you press the fan and switch on the air conditioning, control the fan speed, and on both the sides you have the temperature control. So you get dual zone air conditioning system on this 2022 Tucson, and then you can adjust the flow of air and everything. And then there is the diffuse button. So when you press that diffuse button, so remember I had told you on the dashboard there are like holes which are given inside that. So through those holes the car would circulate air from there. So that is why these buttons, the diffuse button is given, where it would automatically distribute the air from everywhere and make it like an even cooling effect. When you come to the infotainment screen, there are buttons given at the bottom. So this is a 10.25-inch infotainment screen, and shortcut buttons given at the bottom for everything: your volume, map, navigation, radio, media, and the setup button, and on and off. And the main screen itself is pretty snappy. I like how decently quick it is. It's not like super snappy, but yeah, it's very good. And from the previous generation of other infotainment system that I have used, in fact the same infotainment was also there on the Kia K5 that I recently reviewed. So you can click on the pop-up banner out here and can watch the detailed review video of that Kia K5. So when we dive into the main menu option, you get the map option, in which again the map is very good. I like how snappy it is. Yeah, you still get the inbuilt map system, although there is also the Apple CarPlay. You can connect that and use the Google Maps. There is also the navigation, where you will find all the detail settings to put your address, destination, address book, your point of interest, everything in shortcut. And then there is the phone option if you are connected to your phone, so you can connect that and then get the dialing options and everything. Then there is the radio option and the media option. Now in terms of the connectivity on this Tucson, you can connect to this infotainment system using the Bluetooth, USB, and there is Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and that is the wired version. So you get that. There is also the sounds of nature. Let me come to that. So the next bit is the sounds of nature. So if you're familiar with any Hyundai, Kia, or Genesis, you can already hear that. So yeah, you get different bit of these sound options. So when you play them, it's gonna probably calm you while you're driving, or get you into that other area of the world where there are forests, or if you want to hear sea, if you miss the beach, or if you miss rainy day, which is quite likely because we get very less rain out here. So this is going to be a good option. And then the open air cafe, we have lots of cafes out here. The warm fireplace, yeah, if you miss winters, then yeah, definitely that. So yeah, that you can change from here. And the only problem is that by default that always stays on. So yeah, you have to go inside the media and change it. Then the next option is your USB audio, Apple CarPlay, Qibla compass, voice memo. The quiet mode is an interesting feature. So when you go into the quiet mode, there's a quiet mode option. So when you press that, the audio levels are switched to 7. That's about it. And the rear speakers are cut off so that passengers in the back can sleep. So if you have a baby or something, then that's a good feature to have, so that it quietens down things inside the car. So when you come to the sound system on this, you get Bose music system on this Hyundai Tucson. It sounds pretty decent that way. And once we continue, there is also the climate button which has been given. So this air conditioning control also has the climate feature that you can control from the infotainment system, but actually not a control. You can just control some very basic feature like your defog and defrosting, then the recirculation, then the activation of the washer fluid, and you can see the information like how much is the temperature and the flow of air and everything, and then that's about it. Then when you go into the settings, that's where you find all your detailed settings inside the vehicle, where you will see your driver assistance, where all the safety systems are given, then the cluster setting which I had shown you before, and then you go into the climate, you can change the climate setting, then the seat options, then the light options, you can change the high beam assist and all of that. There are also cornering lights in fact on this Tucson in the headlights. Then there is the door options in which you can change all the power tailgate options and everything. Then the convenience options, so you have the charging, wireless charging, you can switch it on and off. Then the default setting if you want to go into that. Then the navigation changes, then the sound settings as I mentioned, device connection, display settings. When you go inside the display, you can see the different display options, blue light and everything. And when you go back, there is also the general settings. So in general, you will find all your units and everything, date, time and all of that you can set. And once you go back, and on the main menu, you can even edit your home icons, so you can change whatever you want to see and customize your home screen. So yeah, according to how you like the icons to be seen. Now when you come to the charging or connectivity, you get 2 USB ports, standard ones which are given underneath the air conditioning controls, and one 12-volt power socket, 180 watt, and there is also a wireless charger which has been given, so you can put your phones, but it's facing on the other end, but yeah, you can still find the light to see if it's charging or not. And there are 2 USB ports which are given for the rear passengers. So yeah, for the first time I think rear passengers also get 2 USB standard ports. You would have also noticed that there is no gear lever out here, but instead it has moved to the button based system, which is the gear changing system is all drive by wire. So when you press these buttons, it would automatically put the car into the drive mode. So yeah, it takes a little while to understand where the buttons are, because initially you will have to look down and see what you're pressing. The same sort of gear changing system, drive by wire system, was also there on the latest Hyundai Sonata. So you can click on the pop-up banner out here and can watch the detailed review video of that Hyundai Sonata. And there's also more buttons given at the bottom of it for your drive mode and the diff lock, because this is an all-wheel drive system. So in terms of the driving modes, you get 3 different modes, which is your eco, normal and the sport mode, and that's about it. Like yeah, just 3 modes, very easy, straightforward. And then there are buttons given next to that on the front for your cooled seat options. So both the driver and the passenger side seats come with the ventilated seats, so they are the cooled ones, so you can press that, and yeah, during the summer it's gonna be an amazing feature to use. Now when you come to the storage, you can put about 1 liter worth of bottle in the door cards and some more storage on the sides. That's about it. There is also the storage that you can utilize to put your phones and wallets and everything. There are 2 cup holders, flexible ones, which are given out here. There is this center storage in which you can easily put like 4 half a liter worth of bottle. It's also got the soft touch material on it. There is also this glove box which is decently big enough, and yeah, it's just normal plastic. Even the outside is normal plastic. And in the back you can put about half a liter worth of bottle or about 1 liter worth of bottle in both the door cards, and there are 2 normal cup holders which are given in the center armrest. There are also a couple of slots which are given in this center tunnel out here, where you can put your phone and wallet. Now on this Hyundai Tucson, you get a panoramic sunroof, which makes things pretty interesting in here, because it makes the car look very airy and very big out here. Yeah, the sun is pretty bright. The sunroof actually opens a little smaller, but nonetheless you can still utilize the panoramic sunroof effect that you get, and the opening and closing of the roof itself is pretty quick. Now when you come to these seats, these are black colored leather seats, and they are perforated seats because they are the cooled ones. and they are decently broad enough that ways, and they have good amount of support at on the sides and even in the backrest and everything. And there is also the headrest, which is decently big enough. There is also this chrome like a strip that has been given in the backrest as well, but the seats are a little on the harder side, and I feel they are a little firmer. For some reason I feel like, you know, they don't go down a little more, because then you feel like you're driving way too high sometimes, which is why it reduces the eventual headroom that you get even in the front. But yeah, I mean, that's just me. Probably you will like this driving position if you like SUVs. I just wish that it would go a little further down, that's about it. But otherwise, yeah, they have good amount of support underneath the thigh, and yeah, the backrest is also pretty decent. There's also lumbar support that is decently big enough that way, and it's ample enough for longer journeys as well. And the driver's side seat is 8-way electronically adjustable and 2-way lumbar control. All of it is electronic, while the passenger side seat is just 8-way electronically adjustable and no lumbar support that you have. And not just that, the passenger side seat on the left side, it's also got buttons on the sides to move the seat forward and backward, and also to recline, essentially for the passenger sitting in the rear seat on the right side, so they can adjust the seat in the front. So it's more of a luxury feature has been given on the Tucson. Now out here in the rear, there is decent amount of knee room and also fair bit of headroom that you get. So someone about 6 feet can still sit easily inside in the back as well. There is, yeah, as I said, there is decent amount of knee room, and plus these seats also have the cutout, so they give that extra bit of knee room as well. And in the back you get the same black color leather seats, which are perforated, but they are only just for the design purpose. They don't heat or cool anything. And not just that, the rear seats are also reclinable, so you can adjust the angle of it, so you can have like, yeah, the sharp angle, or you can have a relaxed setting out here. But the only thing is, I feel the rear seats, the bottom side of it is a little on the lower side, so yeah, when you are sitting in it, you feel like you're like way too down that ways. But which is why you see there is just about enough of support underneath my thighs. And also when I extend my legs, there is decent amount of space underneath the seats to extend your legs during the longer journeys, but not that much where you can spread your legs, because you're sitting that way is a little on the lower side. And also there is not much of a tunnel out here, although it's an all-wheel drive system. So there is not much out here, like a small one. And when I sit in the middle, there is a bit of a bump in the center seat, so yeah, which is why even in the back it's a little bit of a bump, and it makes things a little harder for the middle passenger during the longer journeys. When there is no middle passenger, you can utilize this handrest, which feels a little smaller to my liking, because there are two cup holders, normal ones, which are given out here, but the handrest, length of it is pretty small, because when you put your hand, you're going to be just using that and covering that cup holder. But if there are any cups which are placed in this one, then you are better off not going to be able to use it. And as I said, you can fold down this to access the boot from here. So yeah, it's foldable in a ratio of 40:20:40. There are also storages which are given in the driver and the passenger side seat, netted storage where you can put some of your stuff. There is also 1 liter worth of water that you can put in the door cards. In terms of the quality, again, there is soft touch quality that you get, then glossy black plastic, and at the bottom there is just normal plastic. There are also the sun blinders which are given, so if you have a baby, again, that's good for extra bit of protection from the heat, so that is already inbuilt out here. And there are two air conditioning vents which are given out here. You can just control the direction of air and just cut it off completely, and two USB ports which are given at the bottom. And the passenger side seat, which I had mentioned, you can adjust the angle of it, and you can get extra bit of space if you want to give. I don't know, you can just put it in the front and get a huge amount of leg space. If probably there is no passenger in the front, but if there is some passenger in the front, you probably just taken away their space, and you've utilized the space in the rear. So this 2022 Tucson is powered by a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder GDI engine that produces 187 brake horsepower and 242 Newton meters of torque. And this engine is mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission, while it comes with the all-wheel drive system, which is the HTRAC system that they call it, although there is no selection or anything, because I went onto their site and it said it's only available for diesel, the selection of the different terrain modes. So on this is just yeah, you can just do the diff lock, and that's about it. There's one option for that. But let me come to the engine and the gearbox now. So the engine, yeah, it rather feels a little sluggish in terms of its performance and delivery, and it feels a little, laid back when you try to, push it. Like, it takes a good second before it starts delivering the power. I don't know if it's the throttle response or what can be improved. So it becomes a little more responsive and lively. And not just that, the power actually comes in at 6,100 rpm, the peak power. So which is why it explains why the graph is so long and it takes its time eventually to reach to that peak power. So the best way to overcome is to put this car in the sport mode, because that way it improves the throttle response and it feels just the normal driving mode after that, and not more sportier, but it just feels that it's now normal in terms of its power and delivery. And when it comes to this 8-speed gearbox, it just rather feels very quick to change gears, because I understand that it wants to be efficient, and which is why it's trying to change the gears immediately. And especially when you go from 3rd, 4th and 5th gear, yeah, that's where it takes its own sweet time to shift to those different gears. It maxes out and then uses that range of RPM. So yeah, let me put it actually in the normal mode, because in the normal mode it's actually where you start feeling the sluggishness out here. So currently I'm cruising, and then if I want to just accelerate, that was a second back, I press the throttle pedal. But yeah, it takes that long time for it to just start delivering that power from the gearbox as well, because the gearbox is also trying to just shift immediately to the higher gears in order to improve the fuel efficiency. So when it comes to the fuel efficiency, from this 2.5 liter engine, you will get anywhere between 10.5 to 11 kilometers per liter on a longer runs, and inside the city anywhere between 9 to 10 kilometers per liter. That's pretty much the Hyundai standards what you get from this 2.5 liter engine. Now when you come to the suspensions, you get a rather soft setup. That way at lower speeds you feel a little bit of bumps from the surface. That way it's a little harder also, but when you are going on the highway, yeah, that's when it irons out all the bumps and everything for you. So yeah, that way in terms of that, it's all right, I would say, because the suspension, yeah, that ways are softer, because when I try to do a quicker turns around, then there is a bit of roll, which I want to demonstrate you that. So let me do a slalom and show you the softer setup on this. So yeah, it sort of bends from one end to the other, and then yeah, it just feels very soft and changes the direction with a little laid back approach again. So yeah, that's the suspension for you. When you come to the steering wheel, again, this is electronic steering which you get on this new Tucson, and it's sort of all right for everyday use. It's light, but then yeah, sometimes it lacks that feedback which you want when you are driving, especially when you have a lot of load. So that's when you realize, yeah, the steering can feel a bit disconnected, and you are sort of searching for what that front end is doing when you're trying to turn around. Again, you see the response. I put it in the sport because that's the best way to deal with that situation. So yeah, steering that way, it's alright, plus the softer setups makes sure it takes a little while to just turn that direction also. Now when you come to the noise and the vibrations, there is slight bit of noise which I'll say there is around these windows from the doors, and a little bit of tire noise also, especially on a windy day like today. I don't know if my microphones are picking up, but there is a slight bit of that noise. And plus this engine also sometimes can get a little noisy, because when you want to accelerate hard, yeah, that's when it feels a little stressed out in those events. But otherwise, in terms of the vibrations or anything, it's pretty decent that way, even though the seats are slightly firmer, but it still feels not bad. There are no vibrations as such, or there's no rattling of anything inside. Now when you come to the brakes, there are 4 disc brakes on this Tucson, and the performance from that, so let me accelerate to 100 and do an emergency brake stop. When I do that, the ABS kicks in and it's pretty firm, and there are also emergency stop signals that pop up, and all of that safety tech also comes in. So the brake pedal is also pretty decent. It's got good amount of travel to it, and otherwise the brakes for everyday use, they are pretty good that way. Now when you come to the safety systems, you get 6 airbags, 2 for the front driver and the passenger, 2 side airbags again for the driver and the passenger, 2 curtain airbags. There is also child isofix points in both the rear seats. There is also a front collision warning. There is also a cross traffic rear passenger and the traffic alert and all of that. There is also tire pressure monitoring system. There is also ABS. There is also the blind spot warning, which I have explained before. There is also the turning signals, which are shown on your screen itself. They are good, but at night they may feel a little grainy due to the camera quality. I don't know what is it, but at night it feels a little dark and saturated. Then there is an amazing 360-degree camera system. It's a very good system. It's smooth. You can do a lot more. You can select different views: side view, the top view, the broad view, and also you can zoom into the 3D view which you want to see. So it's really helpful for doing reversing, and even for the front you can press this special button for the camera, and then you can see the front view as well. So overall it's a decent system. There's also the lane keep assist, but the problem with that is it's just very intrusive lane keep assist which you have on this one, because there's an adaptive cruise control and also there's a pilot assist. So when you put that, you can just keep one of your hand, but it would automatically just control the lane changing and all of that, and it will keep you in the lane. But when you are not using that, it can feel a very intrusive system that way, because it constantly keeps trying to forcefully get you into that lane. So I've just switched that off for that reason. Now when you come to the all-wheel drive system, it's kind of alright. It's predominantly a front wheel drive. It's biased like that. It's just when you need more traction in the back, that's when the all-wheel drive system will kick in, but otherwise it's going to be pretty much like a front wheel drive. And when you come to the pricing, this Hyundai Tucson, which is the top of the line, will cost 129,900 dirhams, which is nearly 130k now. The compact SUV category is just very crowded currently, because you have so many competitors. You have the RAV4, you have the CR-V, you have the Mazda CX-5, and all bring something or the other to the table. So it's a huge task to shine from that. But if you ask me, yes, this is a very good car. If you like the looks of it, the outside ones which are very aggressive, then sure, you can go for it. From the inside, it's definitely improved in terms of the quality of materials, in terms of the tech that is offered. So all of that is there. So if it still is there in the mix in terms of the compact SUV segment. So I mean, if you're looking for something in that range, and if you're comfortable spending that much of money, then you should definitely put this in the shortlisted category of the compact SUV, and you should definitely try to test drive this car, because end of the day, it's still a Hyundai. It's going to be reliable, it's going to be there, and it's going to keep on going and churning the miles for you and your family. Anyways, that is pretty much it for this video. Give this video a thumbs up, and thank you for watching this video. And if you want to subscribe to my channel, then you can click here, and if you want to watch more videos, then click here. I shall see you in the next video. Bye bye, take care and stay safe.